Hey guys, today I'll be showing you something I usually don't cover. A helmet. Yes, I'm talking about the much anticipated and long overdue the Black Series Phase 2 Clone Trooper helmet. This piece is special for me because it is my very first Star Wars helmet. I've always wanted to get into collecting them, but that requires space and my tiny Hong Kong apartment would not allow me to go down that rabbit hole. But I'm a big fan of clone troopers and customizing 6-inch figures, so I just cannot pass this one up. This release has been hugely anticipated by many collectors, not only because the Clone Wars is so popular, but it also yields massive potential for customization. As such, I went out and pre-ordered 3 of these, 1 to keep in its original glory and 2 to paint and customize. So let's start the review with the box. As you could see, this packaging adopts the same aesthetic as the Galaxy packaging for the 6-inch Black Series action figures. There is a beautiful rendering of the Phase 2 Clone Trooper, and because of the extra real estate, we are treated to an additional painted image that focuses on the character's helmet. As for the rest of the box, it does a very good job of describing what is inside with a 3/4 view, side view, and the front view. There is a great mix of product photos, renderings, and even line drawings. So there's the box. It's attractive, but let's move on to the actual star of the show. So here it is, the helmet out of the box. Before we begin, please keep in mind I have never handled these in real life, so some of the stuff I'm about to say would have been common knowledge to helmet collectors, but for me, I'm actually coming from seeing it with a fresh pair of eyes. And I must say, wow. Really, wow. Okay, first thing you notice about this piece is it is heavy. There are a lot of plastic involved, and it is way sturdier than I anticipated. The plastic is thick. Even a clear plastic visor, I thought it would be flimsy like a child mask, but it isn't. It's holding up pretty well. I also didn't realize how big it is. I used to play sports, and I realized hard helmets are generally bigger when seen in real life, but this piece is even bigger than I originally thought. The helmet is broken up into multiple pieces, but they are hardly noticeable unless if you really hunt for it. There's the front from here to here, right? It's one piece. The sides are from here to here, and you can see the joints along this line over here, and again, you could hardly see it. The back piece is from here to here, and then there's one center back piece to kind of just create this natural place where you could hide the joints. And then the part with the black line, the gray part, I don't know what this is called, and of course the crown and then the top ridge. Speaking of separation, all the colors here are actually separate pieces. The colors are inherent with the plastics used to mold each piece, and as a result, I cannot comment on the paint apps because there are no paints to be had. So it isn't like the Boba Fett or Bo-Katan helmet, which has a paint scheme and weathering on it. It literally has no paint. And perhaps in the future they come out with Captain Rex helmet, they will come with some interesting paint job and battle damage, but as of now, it is all just a shiny new helmet. And here's the thing about this helmet. I'm cool with it like this being all raw plastic. In fact, the new Clone Trooper armor is supposed to be glossy plastic looking. That's why new recruits are referred to as shinies on the show. I also don't mind the lack of paint because for customizing, it is actually very convenient. It's a nice blank slate. You won't have to spend the effort to strip the paints. However, it would have been cool if some parts, such as this part over here, are made with, say, metal to add some additional dimension to the material. But this thing retailed at, what, $120? So I could excuse the fact that it looks plastic to keep the cost down. Looking further at this, it is so nice to see all the details, such as the side vents, to be articulated as actual openings. I'm just used to the 6-inch figures having these done as divots or paint apps, but in full scale, these touches make it look like actual functional elements on the helmet. And I also love details like this right here and how it interfaces with each other. It is quite a blast to see this design brought to full scale in real life, given the fact that in all the prequel movies, these troopers are actually made from CGI. There were no live-action rendition of this clone trooper helmet until recently for the TV shows. It is amazing to see how these things get interpreted. Moving on to the interior, it is made with just molded black plastic. Unlike the Boba Fett helmet, there aren't many soft cushion-like pieces lining the sides and the back. There is one piece on the very top here, and this is probably the most important part to stop your head from hurting. The interiors could have benefited from not looking so plasticky, but then again, there are not any canon schematics on how the interiors are supposed to look like, so kudos to the designers of this piece to at least give it some interpretation. To conclude on the helmet aesthetics, I'll give it a 9 from a scale of 1 to 10. It would have been perfect if it has some more material quality, but for the price, it has a huge bang for your bucks and looks good on the outside where it truly matters. So that's it about looks. But how does it function? Does it fit well? Here, I think it loses some points, to be honest. As mentioned before, the size is huge. Here, I'll try it on for you to see. So, just to give you a sense of scale, I'm 6 feet tall, average athletic build. But on me, it looks a bit out of scale, and so on a skinnier person, it would have been even more out of scale. Of course, I don't have a full-scale armor, but I can imagine wearing one won't be enough to offset the large size of the helmet. And despite this large size, there are adjustable straps on the inside to help secure the helmet to fit any heads. But one major problem I have with this strap is they are supposed to be removable, as shown on this diagram over here, which allows the wearer to then adjust it on their heads before snapping it back in the helmet. And then after you put on, it would fit well. But that would have been great in theory, except in practice, I still cannot figure out how the hell to remove this crown piece. Once the helmet's on though, I do appreciate how the visors are in line with my eye level, and the visibility is actually pretty good. I'm actually quite surprised that the majority of the side peripheral vision is actually unobstructed. What's more, the T-visor element gives the wearer some ability to spot movement on the lower part of the field of vision, while also gives some protection from blunt damage onto, say, the bridge of the nose. This is actually really cool considering that this design, which slightly references Jango Fett's Mandalorian helmet, was in real life inspired by ancient Greek and Roman armor. Now, you can see how this real-life counterpart would have been designed with these functions in mind, so I think that's actually really fascinating. There's one last feature, the voice manipulator. So how it works is you take this piece out, unscrew the part here, and remove this piece to put in the batteries. The voice changer is powered by 3 AAA batteries, by the way, which are not included. To turn it on, you press this button on the side. Then the sound actually comes from the back over here. I do have an issue with this on-off button though. It is so easy to tap it on by mistake, and I can imagine accidentally leaving it on and having the battery run out. The voice changer is actually cool, but it is hard to judge how accurately it depicts the sound of a clone trooper, because I imagine in my head the voice would have sounded like either Tamara Morrison or D. Bradley Baker, but in reality my voice just sounds like me, and I cannot tell how well it replicates the effect when it alters my crappy voice. So just to test it out, just for kicks, I tried to find a sample of Tim Morrison's voice, and this is what I get.
My first day as a member of the 501st.
It was hot, sandy, chaotic. Nothing at all like the simulations on Camino. I guess that's pretty much the way it was for all of us, wasn't it? Marciota, thank goodness you're safe. We recaptured the temple, but we're expecting there to be another clone attack. The Polynesian Spa. Come on, New Zealand, try something new.
One final note for consideration. When customizing 6-inch figures, some details are easy to do because it is small. But I can imagine the techniques would have been changed a great deal when dealing with a much larger scale. I've yet to figure it out. One great channel is Riser, who makes these amazing full-scale cosplay armors, so I might have to hit up that channel for some great tips. Shout out to Riser over here. So there you have it. As a decoration, I think this is worth every penny. Don't hesitate, just run out and get it. But as a cosplay item, you guys might have to be mindful of its large size. Once more people get this, I hope to hear from those people who cosplay on how the size compares to the other third-party custom clone helmets. But until next time, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.